What if we could pack our bags and move to Venus? You know Venus, right? It's that super bright planet you sometimes see in the evening sky. It looks so pretty and peaceful from Earth, but Venus is actually the most dangerous planet in our solar system. Wait, more dangerous than Jupiter with its giant storms? More dangerous than Mars with its freezing cold? Yes, way more dangerous. Venus looks like Earth's twin sister. They're almost exactly the same size. But Venus is as if Earth had the worst possible day for billions of years. Yes, Venus is hotter than Mercury. Even though Mercury is way closer to the Sun, Venus is actually the hottest planet. How is that even possible? The surface temperature on Venus is 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt lead. Imagine throwing a piece of metal on the ground and watching it turn into a puddle of liquid. Crazy, right? And the air pressure? It's like having 90 elephants standing on top of you, all at once. That would definitely hurt. But wait, it gets even worse. You know those pretty white clouds around Venus? They're not made of water like Earth's clouds. They're made of acid. And sometimes it rains acid on Venus. Yikes! So here's our big question. Could humans actually live on this super scary planet? And if we were brave enough to try, what would we need to survive? Let's find out how we could possibly make Venus our new home. Alright, let's be honest. If you stepped out of a spaceship on Venus without protection, you'd last about 0 seconds. The heat alone would cook you instantly. Remember, we're talking 900 degrees. That's twice as hot as your oven on its highest setting. Your body would basically turn into a human-shaped piece of charcoal, and it's not fun. But the pressure is the real monster. It's 90 times stronger than Earth's pressure. To put that in perspective, that's like being 3,000 feet underwater in our deepest oceans. Your body would get crushed like a soda can. And just when you think it can't get worse, surprise! Those acid clouds would dissolve any equipment you brought with you. Your spaceship, your tools, and even your protective suit would start melting like ice cream on a summer day. But it gets interesting here. Humans are incredibly stubborn when it comes to survival. We've figured out how to live in Antarctica, in deserts, even in space stations. So what if we got really, really creative? Here's a cool idea some scientists have. Let's build floating cities. Yes, some scientists think we could build floating cities. Because about 30 miles up in Venus's atmosphere, the temperature drops to a much more reasonable 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Still hot, but manageable with the right technology. At that height, the air pressure is similar to Earth's, and those nasty acid clouds are below you. Imagine looking down at Venus's surface from your floating home, watching lightning storms that are 100 times more powerful than anything on Earth. The views would be absolutely incredible, but only if you could build windows strong enough to handle the conditions. But even floating cities would need some serious protection. So what exactly would we need to pack for this impossible trip? Moving to Venus would be like packing for the most extreme camping trip ever. Except instead of mosquitoes and bad weather, you're dealing with acid rain and temperatures that could melt copper. First, you'd need a super special spacesuit. Not like those white puffy suits astronauts wear. This suit would be more like wearing a tank. That would be made from the strongest metals we have. The suit would also need its own air conditioner built right in, because you need to stay cool while everything around you is trying to cook you like a hot dog. But a spacesuit isn't enough. You'd also need a house that's basically like a fortress. The walls would be really, really thick. They'd have to be strong enough that acid rain can't hurt them. Now, there's a big problem pending. It's food. You can't grow vegetables on Venus. It's way too hot and dangerous. So you'd have to bring all your food with you from Earth. Or maybe grow food inside special rooms with fake sunlight. And water is the hardest part, because Venus has almost no water. It all disappeared a long time ago when Venus got super hot. So you'd have to bring every drop of water from Earth. Oh, and here's something weird. If you wanted to call your friends on Earth, it would take a really long time. Your phone call would travel through space for 2 to 16 minutes before reaching Earth. Then their answer would take another 2 to 16 minutes to get back to you. But the weirdest thing about Venus is its days and nights. One day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days. That means you'd have sunlight for about 4 months, then darkness for another 4 months. And the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. That's completely backwards from Earth. Living on Venus would be so strange and different from Earth. But what if we could fix the whole planet? Now we're getting into science fiction territory. What if we could change Venus to make it more like Earth? Scientists call this terraforming. It means taking a planet and changing it to make it a better place for humans to live. The biggest problem with Venus is all that thick, poisonous air. Venus has way too much of a gas called carbon dioxide. This gas traps heat like a giant blanket around the whole planet. That's why Venus is so hot. So how could we fix this? Scientists have some really wild ideas about it. The first idea is to put giant mirrors in space. We could put huge mirrors between Venus and the Sun. These mirrors would block some of the sunlight from reaching Venus. It's like giving the planet giant sunglasses that would help Venus cool down. The second idea is to send special bacteria that eat carbon dioxide. Just like how plants on Earth eat carbon dioxide and make oxygen. We could send tiny living things on Venus to clean up the air. They would eat all the bad gas and make good air instead. The third idea is to build giant air cleaning machines. We could build enormous machines that suck up all the poisonous air and replace it with air we can breathe. It would be like having the world's biggest vacuum cleaner for the whole planet. But all these ideas would take a really, really long time, like thousands of years, maybe even millions of years. Your great-great-great-great-grandchildren might be the first people to breathe Venus's air. And it would be the most expensive project in human history. The truth is, Venus will probably remain our solar system's most beautiful but deadly neighbor for a very long time. So, could we live on Venus? Well, with enough technology, floating cities, and maybe a few million years of terraforming, it might be possible. But it would be the ultimate extreme living experience. Venus teaches us something important, that location matters, even in space. Just being in the right spot in our solar system made all the difference between Earth becoming a paradise and Venus becoming a hellscape. It makes you appreciate our perfect little blue planet even more. We've got just the perfect temperature, just the right pressure, and clouds made of water instead of acid. Not bad.